Ross, what's up? I got a couple more questions we get out of here.
Too easy. Hey, you know that nigga 56 ain't dressed in. Hey, what you think about that nigga baby mama?
What's her name?
You know, the Chinese girl.
Yeah, I met her.
I did too.
I met you. And then fifth. Y'all, you don't fuck with fifth like that.
No,
right?
dog can't dress.
He can't dress.
You know dog can't dress. Come on now.
Because you ain't Rick Ross, right? You look like you might want to be Rick Ross. You might be Flick Floss.
50 Cent is going after Rick Ross again after reports claim Ross's new album Set in Stone is projected to sell under 26,000 copies in its first week. 50 mocked him online, joking that he'd have to promote car shows and sell chicken wings. The longtime rap feud just got even hotter.
Curtis. You so infatuated with my lifestyle. Just imagine if I had the chance to slap 50 Cent with this shit right here. Come get it, 50. I want to make this clear. I was just asked a question. I see what's still going on with you and 50 Cent. You mean you won't do no business with 50 Cent? I would. 50 Cent, I see you raising money for your film ideas. You asked a close friend of mine. I saw the renderings, the drawings of what you believe your studio could be like in Shreveport. I'm gonna give you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come sit down at the table and present your ideas. I won't make you any promises. Men of business don't discuss the past.
Thing about Ross and his career that you'd have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. I never wanted to work with.
I'm deciding to your life up. Rick Ross, I'm gonna your life up.
All our prices is set in stone. Flick Floss.
Yo, that line happened to come true crazy. He said I was Aiden Ross's streams before Aiden Ross had ever streamed. Boy, yo, Ross's streams looked a little crazy this week, huh? Yeah, Ross's streams did look a little crazy. I can't even cap with you still. Yeah, Ross came out and like the numbers on streaming were mad. Now I kind of like, that line kind of hits different because I think the entire album, I think a recent Drake song like did more than like his whole album of streams. Ross's album streams was notoriously low. Supposedly he did less than 10K.
I ain't done Rose album in stores right now. We in New York City and Hot 97's playing the whole Ross album right now. Listen, a new Rick Ross album out right now. Go get that.
My cousin went to this concert last week.
That was big. Let's get to it.
We not letting the fuck up on you, nigga. You hopped in beef for no fucking reason, nigga. You inserted yourself when you had nothing to do with this shit. So let's break this down. Nigga, you did 1.8 in your first day, which equivalates to 1,220 albums sold. The biggest flop of them all, nigga.
What's one thing you hate that motherfuckers be talking about you, like on the internet, that you hate that?
I'm gonna be honest, I ain't tripping. Yeah, cause if it's some good funny shit, I could enjoy it too.
Now, are you putting the Drake beef to rest?
Honestly, I discuss a lot of things. You know, Set in Stone is all about etching a little bit at a time.
I don't understand. You're squashing the beef. So I don't know if that means
Ricky Rose is.
Rick Ross is trying to jump ahead of a flop. I've never seen this before. There's lack of promotion, no proper single rollout. It's kind of a mess. Usually, you got Drake. There's no Drake on this album.
Rick Ross just dropped what was supposed to be his big comeback album, and the first week numbers came in so low that 50 Cent couldn't help himself. We're talking about an artist who once moved serious units, somebody who built a whole empire off larger-than-life energy and flashy rollouts. And now, the streaming numbers are in, the sales figures are out, and they're not pretty. Not even close. Before we get into 50's reaction, let's set the scene. Ross had been hyping this project for a while. He was out here doing interviews, talking about the album like it was going to shift the culture. His team was pushing it hard, and his fan base was gassed up. You had people expecting a strong opening week, maybe not a chart topper, but at least something respectable. Then the numbers dropped. The album moved a fraction of what most people predicted. For an artist of Ross's caliber, someone with decades in the game and a loyal following, it was a rough landing.
Morning glory, baby. Listening to the #1 record on iTunes. For the streamers, keep streaming, downloading. Everybody that's getting their physical vinyls, physical CDs, their exclusive merch. Good looking, baby. Album of the year. Listen to the vibes, the production, the wordplay. It's a motherfucking boat, you hear me?
Industry insiders started talking, blogs started posting, and social media, as it always does, started doing what it does best, dragging.
When it come to making moves, I'm telling y'all this because I'm getting ready. I'm doing some, album shit, right? But for the ones that want to know, this album number 12, Rose, how are you always so confident when it come to your business, because it go the way I wanted to go? My album come out, I'm already paid before the album come out. It's Rose. I don't know when them niggas sit on them podcasts doing all them little deals, I don't know what little niggas y'all talking to. The industry has changed, and guess what? As a boss, you put the number up there. This is what we gonna do, just to do business with me. I've sold records, nigga, for the last 20 years. You know what I do, not just for myself, but the entire brand. Rose paid. I pray y'all niggas get paid before the album come out, because when you put the album together, that's the work.
But nobody dragged harder than 50 Cent.
50 Cent is going after Rick Ross again after reports claim Ross's new album Set in Stone is projected to sell under 26,000 copies in its first week. 50 mocked him online, joking that he'd have to promote car shows and sell chicken wings. The longtime rap feud just got even hotter.
Dog, I have on the car show with the Yankee hat. Come on now. No, dog can't dress.
What is this beef that lasts so long though, dog? Like
nah, dog. We two different cloths.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I'm on some real ball shit, man. Yeah. I wanna see us all win. Let's eat.
Right.
Let's shine.
Now, if you follow 50 on Instagram, you already know the man does not miss an opportunity. He's been at war with Ross for years, and this was basically Christmas morning for him. He jumped on social media almost immediately and did what 50 does. He turned the flop into a meme, a joke, a whole event. The thing is, 50 doesn't just talk. He posts, he captions, he tags, he zooms in on numbers with that signature petty energy that his followers absolutely live for. And this time was no different. So, what exactly did 50 say? What did he post? And why is this situation hitting Ross harder than just a bad opening week? That's exactly what we're about to break down. To really understand why this beef hit different this time, you have to go back to where it all started between these two. 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been going at it for well over a decade. This isn't one of those rap beefs that started over a lyric or a feature that fell through. This one has roots, deep ones. It got personal fast, and it never really cooled down.
In January 2009, Mafia music was leaked on the internet.
Can't wait to pay your rent, Curtis Jackson, baby mama, I ain't asking for a
On the record is where Ross would take the first shot at 50 Cent on wax.
50 Cent, let these people know you really admire me. You love my style, the way I dress, the money I get. And let them know that if you really could, you would put all this to the side to do business with me and work with me. It's the truth. I know it is. Cease and desist ain't never been nothing we been big on, and lawsuits, shit like that. 50 Cent sued me before. We beat his ass, kicked him to sleep in court, sent him back home. He was poor. When we pulled up his banking accounts, I felt bad for him. I really did. But
take a shot at you a couple weeks ago about a girl that you're not even with no more.
We wearing Travis Scott's all week.
Yeah. What is it with you and Ross that's just been going on for so long?
Nothing else works for him outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, you mention me. It gets covered further. I get covered across the board. They get covered on the hip hop blog. It is what it is. And you watch, because I have nothing else to say. You'll just see it happen periodically as it goes. You see that big white elephant? That property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs. What kind of rich cut his own grass? Why are you out there cutting your own grass? You're trying to save money? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with cutting your grass.
The tension kicked off around 2008 2009, when 50 started publicly questioning Ross's background. He dug into Ross's past and brought up the fact that Ross had worked as a correctional officer before his rap career took off. In hip-hop, where authenticity is basically currency, that was a serious accusation.
Niggas think that it's an opportunity to create energy or like a excitement for the actual release of their record. And I understand that it may be more attention than you usually get, but it'll be the kind of attention that when it goes away, you go away. The company, the system might actually feel like it's a good idea for the moment until they realize that I won't stop. There's nobody in control of me. I'm deciding to fuck your life up. Rick, bro, I'm gonna fuck your life up. For fun. This is not new. I do this all the time. He can still write a verse, but his verse always has drug dealer references in him.
Yeah.
When he's admitted to being a correctional officer.
Okay.
In order to be a correctional officer, you have to not have any criminal history.
That's right.
Make sure y'all stream that new T.I., man. That new T.I. shit. Right One, that shit on fire. Tip. We want to see them old schools at the car show. ATL. Let Tip know after y'all stream that nigga new shit. That shit hot. I fuck with that. You heard me?
Damn, T.I. Damn, Tip. Send you to your mother like your father do. 50 Cent mom, died in a fire. He talking about how T.I. is linked up with God, and you, assuming 50 Cent, is running with demons, so the devil must be your father. Send you to the... Damn.
For Rick Ross, there's certain artists that it would say things about 50 Cent and that would generate their energy.
50 Cent had some huge records when he had the biggest producers and artists around him putting them together. That's why right now you can't make nothing.
Their whole career has been based on it. So it's not a surprise that they try to do that to continue the relevance. I'm going, good luck, because you're trying to sell a CD at the present moment, and I'm not trying to sell music.
Ross had built his whole brand around being a boss, a street legend, someone who lived the life he rapped about. Having that questioned publicly by one of the most visible rappers on the planet at the time was a direct shot at his credibility. Ross fired back. He dropped diss tracks. 50 dropped diss tracks. It got ugly. At one point, the back and forth escalated way beyond music. There were threats, there were social media posts, there were people in both camps publicly taking sides. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. For a stretch, it genuinely felt like something serious could pop off at any moment.
A lot of people be saying 50 Cent is a bully, but listen, hear me out. So Rick Ross went on the podcast. He was on the podcast, Joe and Jada. Now, during this podcast, Fat Joe got to talking about something, but Fat Joe ended up saying like a lot of these older rappers that's washed up and ain't got no motion. Rick Ross busts out and say, yeah, like 50 Cent. And I guess Rick Ross had on this long ring on his finger, and I guess it's supposed to be worth $1 million. Now, he in the podcast, but Fat Joe tell him like, nah, that ain't who I'm talking about. We ain't about to do that. You already know Jada Kiss, he over there just laughing. Then, next thing you know, Rick Ross like, yeah, I could just take this. Can you imagine me smacking him with $1 million ring? And then Fat Joe tell him again, bro, you doing too much. You reaching. That's not what I'm talking about. You creating some shit that's not here. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about 50 Cent. Next thing you know, he get to saying, yeah, what's the black motherfucker with the two-tone, his forehead a different color? Talking about Uncle Murder. But then when 50 Cent reply, y'all gonna say 50 Cent bullying. Y'all drop a comment, let me know what y'all thinking if y'all seen.
But time passed. Both of them kept moving. Ross put out albums, built Maybach Music Group into a real operation, signed artists, and kept his name in the conversation. 50 transitioned more into television and business, found massive success with Power, and stacked his bag a different way. You'd think with all that success on both sides, the beef would just quietly fade out. And for a while, it seemed like maybe it had. Then Ross's album numbers came out, and 50 smelled blood in the water all over again.
Cease and desist ain't never been nothing we been big on, and lawsuits, shit like that. 50 Cent sued me before. We beat his ass, kicked him to sleep in court, sent him back home. He was poor. When we pulled up his banking accounts, I felt bad for him. I really did. But, you like that? Go ahead and laugh. Look at the camera. Let the camera see it. Hey, let the camera. 50, they laughing at you. Make sure y'all Google that to see what that shit went like. I kicked dog to sleep. But nah, I made my lawyer pull up his finance. Nah, it was bad.
Oh, really?
Nah.
How bad?
It was bad. They made sure I wouldn't say nothing about it. I can't say no dollar figures, but it was nah. Nigga was in an apartment, 2-bedroom. I felt bad for dog. I was like, damn. I know niggas that bought a 2-bedroom just for their puppies and shit.
Can't start up.
You gotta hustle hard. You gotta hustle every day.
So, what were the actual numbers? Because that's where this whole story really starts to sting. Rick Ross's album, depending on which tracking source you look at, moved somewhere in the range of a few thousand pure sales in its first week. When you factor in streaming equivalent albums, the total first week figure came out well under 20,000 units. For context, that's a number that would be solid for an independent artist just finding their footing. For a major label veteran with Ross's history, it's the kind of figure that gets screenshotted and shared without mercy.
He's no longer valuable in the music arena.
Yeah.
Maybe before, I would wake up in the morning and on him and say something just to turn up the little vibe. You know, I'm gonna post some shoes I got later. Let me call him the monkey he is, you know, and that's what it was. You know, I'm a real dude. 50 Cent had some huge records when he had the biggest producers and artists around him putting them together. That's why right now he can't make nothing.
To put it in even clearer perspective, Ross's earlier projects used to open in the hundreds of thousands. His 2012 album, God Forgives, I Don't moved over 200,000 units in its first week. His 2014 project, Hood Billionaire, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. The man had real chart moments, real opening week muscle. That's what makes this particular drop feel so steep. The music industry has changed, no question. Streaming has completely flipped how albums are counted and how success gets measured. A lot of legacy artists have struggled to adapt to the new landscape of playlists and algorithm-driven discovery. That's a real factor, and it's worth acknowledging. But here's the thing, even accounting for all of that, the numbers were low enough to raise eyebrows across the board. It wasn't just fans noticing. Industry Twitter was talking. Music journalists were writing about it. The consensus was pretty clear. This was not the comeback moment Ross had set up. And that's the part that made it so easy for 50 to pounce. It wasn't just that the album underperformed, it's that Ross had talked so much beforehand. He had hyped the project, done the press runs, built the anticipation. When the numbers came back that quiet, the contrast was loud. 50 Cent noticed that contrast immediately. Within hours of the numbers leaking, 50 was already on Instagram doing what he does best. He posted a screenshot of the first week figures with a caption that was equal parts petty and calculated. No long paragraph, no drawn-out explanation. Just a short, sharp line that made his point in a way that was designed to spread. That's 50's whole approach on social media. He knows exactly how to package something so that it gets shared, screenshotted, and reposted across every platform before the original subject even has a chance to respond.
Speaking of that, with Drake, dog, why can't y'all niggas make another motherfucking song, dog? Like, quit playing, dog.
You throw me the alley hoop for the Dum Yami. You know I'm a donkey.
Dog, I keep thinking that though, Rick. I'm like, man, why don't y'all niggas make a song? I don't know what I don't know what happened to the point where y'all niggas not make a song. Drake ain't cool like that. Like, what's the
caption itself played on the idea of Ross's image, that whole big boss, bigger-than-life persona that Ross has leaned into his entire career. 50 basically used Ross's own brand against him. If you're going to spend years telling people you're the biggest thing in the room, you'd better back it up when the numbers come in. And when they don't, someone like 50 is going to be right there with the receipts.
Album, everybody been waiting for it. You know, I was originally gonna come out this week, you know what I'm saying? But the album keeps getting bigger and bigger, so we need a bigger date. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes with music. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, I've been doing this for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I put out 13 albums. I am beyond grateful and thankful for everything that we've done, right? And hip hop changed my life, and I live and breathe and sleep and embrace hip hop. That's what I am. But this next album, Lamb of God, it's like, why am I gonna rush? And every time I make some new music, I get another opportunity to make something even bigger. And I get like, I just left the Jay-Z shows, the Roots Picnic the other day, the Jay-Z shows. I got inspired even more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yankee Stadium one?
Man, I went all 3 nighs.
You did.
All 3 nights. So I got inspired even more. So the album's getting bigger.
Yes.
So I need a bigger date.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? But we are dropping some new music soon, though.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
What made it land even harder was the timing. 50 didn't wait a week. He didn't let the story cool down first. He jumped on it while it was still fresh, while people were still processing the numbers, and he made sure his take was the one that set the tone for how everyone else talked about it. His followers ate it up instantly. The comment section was flooded. People were tagging Ross, tagging other rappers, pulling up old clips of Ross hyping the album during interviews. The whole thing snowballed fast, and 50 kept going. It wasn't just one post. He followed up. He reposted fan comments that were clowning Ross. He added captions to memes. He turned the whole situation into a running bit, which is honestly his signature move at this point. Once 50 locks onto something, he doesn't let it go until he feels like he's made his point completely. Ross, at least initially, stayed quiet. That silence from Ross actually said a lot. Because Ross is not typically someone who holds his tongue. He's been in this industry long enough to know how to clap back, and he's done it before. During earlier rounds of this beef, he was vocal, he was aggressive, he put his responses in the music and in interviews. So, when he went quiet while 50 was actively posting, people started reading into it. Some fans took it as Ross taking the high road. Maybe he decided that engaging with 50 at this point, especially right after a rough opening week, would only make things worse. Responding to 50 on social media is a bit like stepping into a trap. The moment you engage, you're on his turf, playing his game, and 50 has been playing that game longer than almost anyone in hip-hop. Other people read the silence differently. They thought it meant Ross genuinely didn't have a clean answer. Because, what do you say? The numbers are public. You can't argue with first-week data. You can talk about streaming being broken. You can talk about the industry changing, but none of that lands as a satisfying response when someone is waving your figures around on Instagram. There's also a third possibility, and this one might be the most interesting. Ross could have been letting his team handle the damage control quietly, working the phones, talking to blogs, trying to shift the narrative without giving 50 the direct confrontation he was clearly looking for. Whatever the reason, the quiet created its own kind of noise. In the absence of a response, 50's posts just kept getting more traction. Every hour that passed without Ross saying something was another hour for 50's framing of the situation to become the dominant story. That's the thing about social media beefs. Silence isn't neutral. It gets interpreted, and usually not in your favor when the other person is as loud as 50 Cent. And 50 knew exactly what that silence meant for him. Every day Ross didn't respond was another day 50 could control the conversation. He kept feeding the internet. More posts, more captions, more reposts of fans piling on. He was essentially running a one-man press campaign against Ross's album rollout. And it was working better than most actual marketing campaigns do. What's interesting here is the strategy behind it. People sometimes look at 50's social media behavior and write it off as just pettiness, just a guy who holds grudges and can't let things go. And sure, there's an element of that. But there's also something sharper happening underneath it. 50 understands attention. He understands that in the streaming era, attention is the real currency, not album sales, not chart positions. If you can make people talk about you, you win the news cycle. And winning the news cycle is its own kind of clout. By going after Ross's numbers so loudly and so consistently, 50 actually made himself the center of a story that had nothing to do with him originally. Ross dropped an album. That's Ross's story. But within 48 hours, the dominant narrative wasn't really about the album anymore. It was about 50's reaction to the album. That's a flip that only someone with real media instincts pulls off. His Instagram following responded exactly the way he knew they would. 50 has cultivated an audience that genuinely enjoys watching him do this. They follow him partly for the music history, partly for the business moves, but a huge chunk of them are there specifically for moments like this one. They want the commentary, they want the pettiness, they want the screenshots with the captions. Ross dropping a low opening week number was practically a gift delivered directly to 50's content strategy. But here's where it gets more complicated. Because this wasn't just about one bad week. There's a bigger picture forming around Ross's career trajectory. And it goes deeper than a single album flop. Because when you zoom out and look at Ross's last few projects, a pattern starts to emerge. This wasn't the first time one of his releases came in below expectations. His recent output has been getting quieter and quieter in terms of commercial impact. The streams aren't hitting the way they used to. The features aren't generating the same buzz. And the cultural conversation around his music has shrunk compared to where it was during his peak run in the early 2000s. That's not a unique situation for an artist from that era. A lot of rappers who dominated that particular window of hip-hop have found it genuinely hard to stay commercially relevant as the genre shifted. The audience got younger, the sounds changed, the way people discover and consume music flipped almost entirely. Longevity in rap is rare, and staying at the top for more than a decade is something very few people actually pull off. But Ross's situation feels a little different from the standard legacy artist slowdown. Part of it comes down to the gap between his image and his current momentum. He never really adjusted the presentation. He's still coming in with the same big boss energy, the same larger-than-life rollouts, the same talk about being at the top of the food chain. And when the numbers don't match that energy, the contrast becomes a problem. It also doesn't help that his personal life has generated its own set of headlines over the past couple of years. His very public and ongoing conflict with rapper Gunplay, questions about Maybach Music Group's current roster and activity, and various other stories that pulled attention away from his music rather than toward it. By the time the album dropped, Ross was already carrying some baggage into the rollout. 50 has been watching all of this play out in real time. And with every new development, every quiet release, every underwhelming number, he's been adding fuel to his own narrative about Ross's decline. He didn't create the story, he just made sure everyone heard it, and the people hearing it aren't just casual observers. The hip-hop community has been paying close attention to this whole situation, and the reactions have been pretty divided. On one side, you've got the 50 Cent loyalists, people who have followed this beef for years and feel like 50 is simply telling the truth. They point to the numbers, they point to the rollout, and they say Ross set himself up by over-promising and under-delivering. In their eyes, 50 isn't being cruel, he's just being honest in the most public way possible. On the other side, there's a real group of Ross supporters who feel like 50 is punching at someone who's already down. They argue that Ross has put in genuine work over a long career, built a label, developed artists, and contributed real things to hip-hop culture. One bad opening week doesn't erase any of that. And they see 50's constant social media attacks as less about truth-telling and more about settling old scores under the cover of commentary. Both perspectives have some weight to them. That's what makes this situation more layered than your average celebrity beef. There's also a third conversation happening, one that's a little more uncomfortable for the industry as a whole. Ross's numbers are being used by some people as a data point in a larger argument about whether legacy rap artists can still move product in the current market. If someone with Ross's name recognition, his label infrastructure, his years of goodwill built up with fans, can't crack 20,000 units in a first week, what does that say about the commercial ceiling for artists from that generation? It's a question the industry doesn't love sitting with, because the answer points to some real shifts in how music gets valued and consumed right now. Streaming playlists favor new voices, algorithm-driven discovery tends to push fresher acts, and the casual listener, who used to buy albums, or at least stream them front to back, has fragmented across so many platforms and genres that holding their attention for a full project release cycle is harder than it's ever been. Ross isn't the only one feeling that pressure, but he might be the most visible example of it right now, partly because of the size of his persona, and partly because 50 made sure the whole world was watching when the numbers came in low. And that visibility cuts both ways. Yes, 50 amplified the story and made Ross the face of a conversation about legacy artists struggling in the streaming era. But that same spotlight also means more people are now aware of Ross's album than might have been otherwise. There's a strange irony buried in all of this. 50's relentless posting, his memes, his captions, his comment section activity, it all kept the album's name circulating online for days after release. Some people went and actually listened just to form their own opinion about whether the music deserved the criticism or not. That's the double-edged nature of this kind of attention. It's not good press, but it's press. And in an environment where most mid-tier album releases get a day or two of coverage before the internet moves on, Having your project talked about for a full week, even for the wrong reasons, is something. Whether that translated into any meaningful bump in streams is a separate question. Probably not enough to matter at the label level, but it's worth noting that the conversation around the album extended well beyond what a quiet rollout would have generated on its own. What happens next for Ross is the real question hanging over all of this. Does he address 50 directly? Does he put his head down and let the music speak over time, hoping the album finds its audience through slower burn streaming? Does he pivot, change his approach, try something different with the next project? Ross has surprised people before. He's had moments where everyone counted him out, and he came back with something that shifted the conversation back in his favor. The music business has a short memory when something new and exciting comes along, and Ross knows how to create moments. But right now, in this specific window, 50 Cent has the loudest voice in the room. He's been controlling the narrative, setting the tone, and making sure his version of this story is the one people remember. At the end of the day, this whole situation is a reminder of how ruthless the music industry can be, and how social media has completely changed the rules of the game. Ross put out an album, the numbers came in soft, and before he could even catch his breath, 50 Cent had already turned it into a whole moment, a meme, a conversation, a storyline that overshadowed the music itself. That's the world these artists are operating in right now. It's not just about what you create anymore. It's about how the internet reacts to it, who's watching, and who's ready to pounce the second things don't go according to plan. 50 and Ross have been at this for over a decade, and somehow, every few years, the beef finds a new reason to stay alive. Whether you're riding with 50 on this one, or you feel like Ross deserves more respect for his body of work, one thing is clear: this story isn't over, not by a long shot. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Whose side are you on? If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what we cover next. See you in the next one.